Yo, 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 what's up, good people? It's your boy. Boom to the boom. And this is the Hold Up Show. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Hope everyone is living in gratitude for the life that they have and the blessings that they already have received. I am in my normal mood and just in my happy vibe. I mean, I just been resting, just really rejuvenating my body. I just been on 1,000 since I've been here, and it just really just been feeling good that, I get to stop and just rejuvenate, reflect, be appreciative. Like, no matter how hard it's going in life, there is always something to be appreciative for. And I'm learning that. No matter how hard it gets, or no matter how easy and how good things are going, I know how fast things can change in a blink of an eye. And I've always just been appreciative of everything I've had and everything that I went through. The good, the bad, the indifference, the clarity that you get to find in I just see so much of how God has had his hand on me. And it's like, if not every day of him showing it, he shows me reflections of times that throughout my life of something that I don't want to say maybe I didn't see a way that I would have got out of it, but it was more or less like I see how he made maneuvers and moves to make sure that I was always protected and that I would always come out in a position to win, and not only win, but win and better myself, And I just want to spread that to people. It's your outlook. You have to remain with a positive outlook. Because if you dwell in that negative energy, you will remain in that negative energy, and you will remain having negative outcomes to things that you're trying to prosper in, no matter what you're trying to prosper in. If you are thinking negative about it, you will have a negative outcome. You have to understand how powerful your mind is. You have to understand how powerful your thoughts are. They really, really shape your reality. They really can mold you as a person, and you don't want to be molded in a heap of negativity. Like, of course, in life, everything will never remain positive or ever remain even kill. There will be storms, but you always have to look at it like, if it didn't rain, how would the crops grow? How would something come to fruition? How would you be able to harvest the seeds you've planted without a storm? You know? And it's like, most of the time, the water that we use to harvest the seeds we planted to grow normally comes from a storm. And then it's like, also, like, a storm can really come through and show you how strong you actually are. And every day, I've realized through things that the divine creator has shown me, as far as, like, things he pulled me through, or just situations that I was, appreciative to recognize negativity and be able to sidestep people, places, things, because I listened to him, and he had me listen to my heart. And there was a time that I was ignoring those things that he was trying to tell me, because of my own selfish plans that I had for my life that were not aligned for the purpose that he had for me on this earth, for the time that we have here to make that impact. Like, I just love him. And I love the seeds of my heart that he blessed me with to come on this earth as well, and to now watch them be able to navigate life however they choose, and to identify some of the gifts and traits from me and my bloodline that he has blessed them with, you know, unconsciously and unsubconsciously, without them even knowing and without me even mentioning it to them, of the things that they've, picked up from me and that they're able to apply in their life. It's just been a beautiful feeling. And it's like, just no matter how dark it gets, there is always something to look at and be appreciative of, because you opened your eyes. You have a chance to mold your reality. Like, you are a living piece of clay. You do not have to harden into a particular perspective, lifestyle, outlook that is just not aligned with who you are or aligned with the path that he wants you on. It's like okay to clear your karmic debt, no matter how hurtful it may be, to display things you've been at fault for, because in this land of sin, nobody is perfect. We've all had unhealthy or impure thoughts towards people, places, things, outcomes, situations. We all had our perspectives and opinions, whether they be positive or negative, towards people, places, things, outcomes, situations. We've all even done something intentionally or unintentionally that may have caused hurt, pain, or, just strife in our life or in other people's lives. I see more and more now that every action and every encounter it's just not by accident. It's really not. It's all commingled in a larger divine plan. Because your hello and great gesture to someone else could have such an impact on their day that they consciously or unconsciously can positively or negatively impact someone else's day. Like, like if you're like in the house and, your significant other or your child or, something you may have done, you burnt your shirt while ironing it, or you brushed against something soon as you got fresh and it put a stain on your clothes you just put on, or whatever, and now you're going out the door and you're a little peeved, or you're just I don't want to say upset, because that's like too harsh of a word for something like getting a smudge on your clothes when you just got fresh, But it can have an effect on you as you're going out the door, or you know about to start your day and you don't have a chance or time to change that shirt or find another pair of pants that don't have a spot on them because you was just spotless and flawless, or and then you go out the door and you know you're upset about it, or to put you in a little mood, and then you get in your car, you get to driving, now somebody's not driving fast enough for you, or they cut you off, and now that compounds on whatever else that you are upset about because you got this stain on your shirt, and you know what I mean? Or then you go to maybe get a bite to eat or something, and they give you cold fries, or the coffee wasn't made with enough cream and sugar, or your request wasn't made, and now you gotta weigh out, is it worth the energy to go in there and cuss the Dunkin' Donuts person out? You know what I'm saying? Like, things can compound, and it's like sometimes you just gotta know when to reel yourself in and just take that breath, and just take that just take that moment to realign with positivity, and look to the sky, and you know ask them to help correct you and help bless you to a bad start to the day that you may be having, so you don't continue to go out here and negatively affect someone else's life because your day started bad, or because you ran into a circumstance or an outcome that you couldn't control. Because the one thing you can control is your reaction. You can control your feelings. And if you can't, you have to learn how to be able to step in that power that he has given you since birth. I learned that, from the time that we come into this world, from leaving our mother's vessel, we are immediately put under indoctrination. We are immediately, poked up with things that they say is for our greater good, but we already are at our greatest good. Soon as we get here, we are of the purest light and being, and they all already are looking to disrupt that connection. They're already looking to disrupt us negatively with something that may have not even entered our circumference of life yet. And then they get to trying to alter your God-given behavior with rules and restrictions and things that they like to deem as, just manners and proper etiquette and things like that. Like, yes, I do believe we should treat everyone kind. Yes, I do believe that we should be able to adapt to circumstances and move with the common sense that we are born with. Well, hopefully most of us are born with, but yeah, like, it's just like the more and more I dig into the layers of myself, the more and more I become proud of the foundation that he gave me when I got here, and that I never strayed from that foundation, even when I started to pick up some negative environment habits of, a term that they like to use, when in Rome, do as Romans. Well, if you're not a Roman, you should remain true to yourself. And if the behaviors of Rome does not align with your higher self and does not align with the divine creator that brought you here, you need to move from Rome. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to get away from the state of mind of Rome. You don't need to, if you're in Heathenville, that does not mean you need to act as a heathen. You know what I mean? No matter how much scrutiny or harbored hatred you may accumulate while being in Heathenville because you're not acting like the other heathens. Remain true to yourself. Remain strong in your power. Learn how to remove yourself from situations, or even learn how to alter those situations into something more favorably aligned with who you are. I've learned in life that since a child, there have been people that I've loved and expressed love to that never liked me or never loved me as I love them, And sometimes, even as a child, when you recognize these things, all you know is how to express love, like you could be upset and throw tantrums, if you don't get enough juice or you don't get a piece of candy when you want it. It doesn't mean that you want to do something devious to the person who's denying you this. You just get in your feelings a little bit, and then the next thing you know, you're over it. You're on to something else. And it's like, I have often said, maybe through posts or through other social encounters, that the world hates someone trying to be pure and trying to do the quote unquote right thing, or walk in alignment with what we was taught as a child was the right thing to do. They say tell the truth, don't lie, have integrity, stand for something. Just things like that. It's just like, and then it's like, the same people that teach you these things, if you catch them doing it, it just kind of shakens the reality that they were trying to mold you into. It's like, if you tell me not to lie, or you're trying to teach me and indoctrinate me not to lie, and I catch you lying to me, what am I supposed to do with that? Are you now giving me the green light to lie to you, long as you're unaware that I'm lying? You know? If you were to tell me, oh, a man doesn't blah, 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 but then I catch you as a man doing the blah, blah, blah that you say is not of integrity, or that's something that a man wouldn't do, or am I now supposed to perceive you and look at you as not a man? Or not a man of integrity of your word, you know? And it's like, when I try to make sense of it all, I think some things just doesn't need to be made sense of. We just live in a world of contradictions. Because it's like, even when you catch the people in the contradictions and you call them out on it, they are now mad at you for calling out things that they say they don't do, or that they are that they don't represent. It's like, you do represent that. You are that. Like, you know, don't be mad at me for holding up the mirror or reflecting something that your mouth is saying that you don't do, but your actions saying that your actions clearly show that you do, you know. And it just becomes amazing, you know. Of just watching you also, as a person, try to navigate your own contradictions when you run across them, you know. What's that other famous saying that rappers like to say all the time? Like, Lord, you said thou shalt not kill, but what if they trying to kill me? You know? Am I not supposed to defend myself to the point that I may have to kill them? Because I'm not the one who initiated the action of trying to kill me. But are you saying that I should only defend myself to a certain point, that I do not kill them, even though they keep coming after me in a manner to kill me? Or am I supposed to surrender my life because their actions are with the intent to kill me, just so I don't break your commandment? If thou shalt not kill, does that mean a mosquito too? Does that mean when I walk the streets and I mistakenly, unknowingly, and unconsciously crush an ant, that I have now sinned? That I have now killed and took the life of one of God's creatures? And it's like, oh no, he doesn't mean a bug, it just means humans. Oh no, it doesn't mean a cow, because you love burgers, so not that. You know what I mean? Nah, it doesn't mean that squirrel you ran over. It's just a little tree rat. You know what I mean? And it's like, if all life is precious, down to the fruit gnat, all the way up to whatever the biggest living, breathing entity on this earth is, all life is precious. All life has a purpose and an impact on someone's world. It's not to say that I'm not out here still smacking and mushing mosquitoes and swatting away fruit gnats and all that. That's just not the point that I'm trying to make. But it's just a world of contradictions that we were birthed into. Is a world of indoctrination of contradictions that we were taught to follow. And it's like, yeah, we have what is called a sidewalk, but if I walk in the street, am I now violating the rules and the purpose of the sidewalk? Like something just as minuscule as that. Like, it's like some of the most non-violent people may love action movies and horror flicks, but they've never killed anything. But they love to see the interpretation of things being killed, the interpretation of things being shot. Does that now mean that they are a contradiction, or that they are living in a negative outlook because they are absorbing action movies and horror movies? Does that now change the soul of them? Are they now looked at unfavorably, even for a time, in God's eyes, or their angels' eyes that's looking over them? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if you're consuming them things at a point till it is a detriment to you, that you start to emulate the things that you are consuming, then God may look unfavorably behind those behaviors. But who knows for certain? Because it's like when I say that I was divinely guided and divinely touched and shown visions and all of that. Of course I immediately started to look at myself and wonder, like, you know, I'm not the greatest person. I'm not out here doing anything evil to anybody or looking to intentionally hurt people, but I also feel as though, like, there there are other people out here that I may perceive that are having a much bigger positive impact on the world than I ever did. And why are they not given certain gifts or given certain precious favor under the Lord that I am. But then again, on the other side of that, maybe the Creator put them in my path for me to see them and perceive them that way, so that when it was time for Him to touch me for my purpose, that them living their purpose had the positive impact on me that He was trying to invoke in the first place. And then it was like through so much of me being scared of people and their intentions because of all the mask wearers that I've encountered throughout my life, even when I seen that they were wearing masks, that I still entertained. They could be having the positive and purposeful impact on my life that He intended them to have. And at this point, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I look at it like, so when I see the Aaron McGruder show, Black Jesus, I get what he was trying to say, but I don't necessarily like how it was presented in so many words. But just think right now, if Jesus was walking among us, right? How would He be treated? How would He be living? Because he's like He doesn't know He's quote unquote Jesus, right? This supreme being that's going to have such an impact for centuries after He has ascended back to the spirit realm. Did He know that? Was He walking the straightest, narrow of lines? When He was a child, did He ever kick sand on another child in the sandbox? Did He ever get into any scuffles, disagreements, or any of that? Or was it just always just this divinely holy, without sin entity that the Bible, the revised over and over Bible, likes to present to us? Or did He at times harbor negative feelings, or did He ever have a negative impact on someone's day by just living a normal day-to-day life of living, breathing, and existing? Because I also noticed that a person just being themselves, whether positive or negative, but just say that just being themselves, not harming anyone, it could irritate someone else to the point that it negatively affects their day from them just being themselves. Like, you ever seen when people get mad at a person that's just always smiling, always happy, or always in a good mood? How it could just negatively affect a person or people. And it's like, you ever just stop and think like, how? How is me being happy having such a bad impact on you when normally happiness and positivity is infectious, right? You would think it's infectious. Like, you ever been around a person and they get to laughing and the laugh just gets you to laughing, but you don't even know what you're laughing at, but the laugh is so infectious. It's just so pure in whatever that person is laughing at that it just gets you to laughing. And it's like, then you may realize that you might be laughing at something that's negative or whatever, and then you're like, oh, that ain't that funny, but you was laughing so hard, I was just laughing at you, laughing because you just cracked me up the way you laugh, or the way you laugh was just so filled with joy that it made me laugh. But now that I know you're laughing at someone's downfall or someone's pain or misfortune, that I didn't mean to. I'm not laughing at that. That is not my intentions. But the infectiousness of how you were laughing just had a positive effect on me and made me want to laugh too. You know? Like, sometimes it just really can get that deep. But they keep us on such a hamster wheel that we don't have time to dissect things to that granular of a level, you know? Which is cool. I understand. It's cool. And it's like every day I appreciate the way he has made me. And I also even understand why he made me the way that he made me. And why I'm not for everyone. And why other people are not for everyone. You know? Like, I've run across people that I know are not for me. Like, they might just not have been my cup of tea. That the vibes that influence their day will never be the same vibes that could influence my day. And I get that, you know? And I mean, I got it before, but now it's like I even get it on a different esoteric level. And I'm starting to rediscover loving people again. Because it's like, once you love yourself, you are now able to love people even through their contradictions and inconsistencies. It's like, even through this life, well, not this life, but even through this ascension, I still struggle with certain things. You know, I may have, oh man, it's such a beautiful day. I may slip, or I may, oh look, it's a little gecko, look. Hope you was able to see him. But I may, like, you know, falter into something that's a little low vibrational, like smoking a cigarette, like spitting on the street or something, or, you get what I'm trying to say. It's no way you can be in this world without encountering some sort of sin, because it's just the way that this world was constructed. And it's like, yes, you try to be as pure as you can be, especially when the Creator has come and touched your heart the way He's touched mine, or even when He's come to save you from something that could have had the ultimate negative impact on your life for years and years to come, or even death. Even though we all are going to die one day eventually, it just is what it is, You're not looking to jump in that grave any faster than when you're supposed to, As you can see, I've been procrastinating on getting a haircut and getting my hair done, because I'm just kind of leery about people touching my hair nowadays and touching my garments, or just touching me. I just don't know what kind of hate people are harboring, or what kind of demons or spirits are on them. And it's like, since I've been on this journey of spirituality, and that they came into my life and guided me this way, that bug try to get on my back, that I'm just more aware and more conscious of that. Even like where I go to eat, I don't want everyone's food. I don't want everyone touching my food. And it's because it's like, once you've had somebody poison you, or once you have somebody trying to kill you, or groups of people praying for your downfall, it will have an effect on your life. Trust me, it will have an effect on your life. It will have you walking on pins and needles for a while. It will have you in a state for a while that you have to travel out of. You have to alchemize and dig yourself out of that state, so it does not harbor your growth, because they're harboring hate. And it's like, the hate that people harbor towards you or towards things is really stemming from a buildup of negativity that they refuse to release in their life. They left the crib with that smudge, and that smudge turned into somebody cutting them off, and then that cutting them off turned into them going and they got their coffee made wrong, and it's just like the negativity just kept building and building and building up, and they run across this person that's always smiling, or always achieving whatever they wanted to achieve, or just their outlook on things is just different than theirs, and they're not running into the same trials and tribulations that they might be running into. It's like, man, fuck you. Mentally, in their head. Or it's a side-eye look like, why this motherfucker always happy? Like, he ain't going through shit. Yeah, I just handle it differently than you do. I don't let it defeat me and harbor in my soul to the point that I can't continue on, or to the point that I can't positively affect someone else's life while even going through something negatively of my own. Get away, mosquito. So yeah, I just wanted to jump in, talk to my people, express some more things that I recognize and healing from and all that. Because it's like no matter what I've come across, I'm noticing now that it's something that he wanted me to come across because it was meant to. It was something to help keep shaping this soft clay, because he's not ready to harden me into a particular thing. Like, your clay doesn't become hardened into the person that he's molding you into until it's all said and done. And then people can look at the hardened sculpture of what he made you when it's all said and done, like a Jesus. And hopefully something you do, or some way you impacted someone, can carry throughout the centuries, like the impacts that Jesus may have had on the world, or in millions and millions of people's life throughout the centuries. And we know, like, they didn't revise the Bible and made certain things the way they wanted to make them, but the overall foundation and core of the message is to positively impact your life and positively push you to be your higher self. Because I don't think even Jesus was living up to the standards that the Bible wanted to place on him as a human being in this world, But, that's my message for today, you know what I'm saying? Like, just wanted to tap in, say what's up to y'all. About to go find me somewhere to get a cut. So I'm just getting face breaking on a little bit. Whatever, It's my soul I want you to see, not my haircut. Yeah, so it's your boy Home Boom. This is another episode of the Hold Up Show. I'm in the paradise of my mind, and I'm in a paradise in the physical realm that I love, and I'm just trying to have a positive impact on the world, no matter what's thrown my way. So, love and light. Hashtag he saved me. Hashtag faith. Hashtag the grass is always greener and full of geckos, iguanas, and chipmunks on God's side. So, love y'all all, and I hope this is having a great impact on your world. You dig? So,